Launch of NASA rocket to the moon postponed again. A NASA rocket was supposed to shoot the spacecraft Orion towards the moon on Saturday. But there were problems. Again, the launch is now postponed again. The launch of NASA's unmanned lunar mission Artemis 1 is postponed again. This was announced by the U.S. space agency NASA on Saturday afternoon on Twitter. The launch date had been scheduled for Saturday, 2:17 p.m. local time, 2017 CEST. However, a few hours before the rocket was scheduled to lift off, a leak was discovered in a pipe used to pump about 3 million liters of hydrogen and liquid oxygen into the tanks. The leak could not be repaired in the afternoon. A team of experts then recommended that the launch be aborted. Technical problems had already caused the launch to be postponed last Monday. The unmanned rocket is scheduled to spend more than 5 weeks in space after its launch from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Its Orion capsule at the top of the rocket is to orbit the moon at a distance of about 100 kilometers. It is then expected to travel up to 64,000 kilometers beyond the moon, which would be a record for a spacecraft designed to carry humans. NASA had previously been working on the problem that led to Monday's last-minute launch postponement. The head of the rocket program, John Honeycutt, described at the press conference, at first it had looked as if one of the 4 main engines of the rocket was not cooled down sufficiently. In fact, however, it was a false reading from a sensor. In the future, the wrong indication will simply be ignored. In addition, a leak in a tank had to be repaired earlier. The cause of the leak had been found and fixed, said launch maneuver leader Charlie Blackwell Thompson. Artemis mission manager Mike Sarafin, however, tempered expectations. There's no guarantee we'll lift off on Saturday, but we'll try, he said, back to the moon in 3 steps. Artemis 1 will test the most powerful launch vehicle to date and the Orion capsule sitting at its tip under real-world conditions. The follow-up mission, Artemis 2, is intended to put astronauts into lunar orbit, and Artemis 3 is expected to land on the moon in 2025 at the earliest. The last time NASA astronauts landed on the moon was 50 years ago. In the long term, the Artemis missions will prepare for a manned mission to Mars, which is much further away. Germany is also playing a major role in the Artemis mission. The Orion service and propulsion module, for example, was mainly built here. According to the German Federal Ministry of Economics and Technology, 50% of its funding came from Germany through the European Space Agency, ESA. The Institute of Aerospace Medicine at the German Aerospace Center DLR in Cologne manufactured 2 human-like mannequins for the mission, which will be used to test flight conditions.